This concept is called structure of the passage. How to identify this concept? It asks about the structure in general, and specifically it says, which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? So the formula is step 1, read the passage. Step 2, understand the flow of how it was written. Step 3, explain the structure in your own words. Step 4, find the answer that agrees with yours. Real quick before we get into the details, what is the structure? By structure, we simply mean how is the passage organized, right? Is it a claim and then further evidence about this claim? Is it bringing one piece of evidence and then dismantling it in the future? Is proposing 2 alternate theories? So it's just essentially how this passage is organized. It's not as much about the content directly, it's just about how the content is organized. All right, let's try this one together. So first we're going to read the passage. People have long been fascinated by the unique abilities of octopuses. These intelligent creatures can solve complex puzzles, recognize human faces, and even use tools. Their problem-solving abilities are particularly remarkable because octopuses developed along a completely different evolutionary path than mammals. While our intelligence is centralized in our brains, an octopus has 2/3 of its neurons distributed throughout its 8 arms. This decentralized nervous system allows each arm to operate semi-independently, gathering information and making decisions without direct input from the brain. Scientists believe this unique neural structure enables octopuses to control their chromatophores, specialized cells that allow them to change color and texture for camouflage, with remarkable precision and speed. Now, I want to explain the structure in my own words. At the top here, they're just saying a generalized point that people are interested in octopuses and they're intelligent, they can solve all these things. And then we get into the nitty-gritty of a specific way that they are intelligent, explaining how through this decentralized nervous system they're able to do all these cool things. So I think it's a general point, and then it goes into specific detail after that. Now that I have that in my head, I want to go to the answer and find one that agrees with that. A, it identifies a problem with studying octopuses and then proposes solutions to overcome these challenges. Nope, that's not what I said. It's just giving a general point and then a specific example. B, it introduces octopus intelligence and then explains the unique physical feature that contributes to their abilities. Okay, perfect. So first, it introduces octopus intelligence generally and then explains a unique physical feature that helps them be intelligent and contributes to that. So I think B is a great answer based on what I had before the answers. C, compare the intelligence of octopuses to other marine animals and then explain why octopuses are superior. I don't think it's comparing these things. I think, once again, I think B is a much better answer. D, it presents a theory about octopus evolution and then provides evidence that contradicts this theory. Even though it mentioned evolution, that is not what this is talking about. It's talking about its intelligence. So D is also wrong. B is the correct answer. Alright, pause the video and give this one a try on your own, and we'll come back together and do it. Before the 1500s, most Europeans believed the Earth was the center of the universe, with the sun, moon, planets, and stars revolving around it. This geocentric model, formalized by the ancient Greek astronomer Ptolemy, explained observable celestial phenomena and aligned with religious teachings of the time. However, the Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus proposed a radical alternative. The heliocentric model, which places the sun at the center with the Earth and other planets orbiting around it. Initially rejected by many scholars and religious authorities, Copernicus' model gained support decades later when Galileo Galilei's telescopic observations revealed phenomena that the geocentric model couldn't explain, such as the phases of Venus and the moons of Jupiter. So, in this one, I think it is essentially presenting a initial belief and then showing how throughout time it progressed and changed due to new research coming from different people. So I'm going to look for a structure that is similar to that. A, it presents one scientific theory, then introduces a competing theory that replaced it, and finally explains why the change occurred. Okay, awesome. So, right, it explains an initial scientific theory with Ptolemy, and then introduces a competing theory with Copernicus, and then explains why it was finally replaced due to Galileo. So A perfectly talks about the structure of this passage. But let's go to the other ones, as I think there's a tricky wrong answer here. B, it identifies a historical problem and then describes several failed attempts to solve it. Nope, it was solved. That's a wrong answer. C, it describes an ancient belief, then argues that modern society should return to this perspective. No, once again, it's not arguing we should return to being geocentric. It says nothing like that. D, it introduces two scientists who disagreed with each other and then explains how a third scientist resolved their dispute. I think this is a tricky answer, as it seems like, yes, Ptolemy and Copernicus had different views, but they're not necessarily disagreeing with each other. Ptolemy came 1500 years before, right? It says before the 1500s, when Copernicus came, everyone believed what Ptolemy had done in ancient Greek times, which is so much before. So it was more just the progression of research over time. It wasn't them disagreeing directly, as there wasn't any need for Galileo to essentially resolve their dispute, as it wasn't really a dispute. I mean, Ptolemy had been dead for a very long time, but also it was a progression of research over time. So Ptolemy might have agreed just based on the evidence. This is just natural progression. So D is also wrong, and the answer would be A.